They just don't sell them like they used to. And by used to, I actually mean earlier this year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this one, we need to talk about 9.9's. Everybody's favorite topic. I mean, every time we talk about 9.9's, it's just met in the community with overwhelming positivity. Am I right? Obviously, I'm kidding. Well, in this video, I want to go over the most recent sale of the Wolverine #1 CGC 9.9 that sold in this most recent Comic Connect auction and talk about, is this the start, the beginning of the end for CGC 9.9's? Well, in the case of this book, I actually do think it might be. But of course, before I get into it, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I appreciate it. Helps support the channel doing those things. But let us get into this video here today. There you see it. The CGC 9.9. I mean, it's got a gold number up there. I myself personally would pay thousands upon thousands of dollars more if I knew that I could get a little gold number up there, because gold means better. That's what CGC says. Anyways, this book, you guys know it, the first limited series, classic Frank Miller story and cover for everyone's favorite character, recently sold here at Comic Connect for $12,500. That's a big number. I mean, $12,500, nothing to sneeze at, right? Well, you might be sneezing if you knew that the most recent sale for this book was earlier this year for $15,600. And the most recent sale before that was in 2023 for $23,500. Even in 2021, the book was selling for $17,001. So what is going on? Are we on the downslope, the beginning of the end for CGC 9.9's? Well, shout out to Ryan over at Automatic Comic Books. I mean, we talk about this all of the time, and he has been doing great video work, uncovering all of the recent 9.9's that have been hitting the census. And I think that this is one of the issues that, we always continue to hammer home here on our YouTube channels. And that is to say that, if you're somebody who's playing in this high grade market, if you're playing in the 9.9's and you're playing with the 10s, I mean, at the time in which you buy your book, sure, it could seem like you have the best copy. I mean, sure, it could seem like this is a really rare occurrence, but is it really? Is it really, if more of these books are going to be continuing to hit the census? And if they do, will there be enough people out there that actually want them for the prices that the previous buyers were paying for them? I mean, it's just simple supply and demand. And if there's just not the demand there, well, what is going to happen as the supply continues? And that's really one of the biggest concerns with a book like this. Not to mention that a 9.9 isn't even the king of the mountain. It's not even the top of the hill. There's 10.0 copies for this, which, as we know, sold earlier this year for $27,000. And if I go over here to the CGC census, we can actually see there are 4 universal grades that are 10.0s, and 9.9's actually have 39 on the census. So you're paying a 5-figure price for a book where there's 38 other copies, of people that could potentially underbid you or later put up their, book for auction, if they want to sell it for less. Not to mention how many of these 9.8's, the 4,181 of them, could be crack and press candidates. How many raw copies are there that could be, actually submitted and get 9.9's? In fact, I actually went over to CGC Census to look up this particular copy, and I was able to take a look at it in preparation for this video. But I got this strange message when I actually wanted to show it to you guys, which is to say, your search activity has exceeded our limits. These limits help to protect the security of our database. Please try again later. This is obviously very, very important information that the Matrix does not want me to share with you guys, but let me tell you what happened here. I put in the cert number, and let's just see if one more time I can get to it. Oh, I can get to it now. My cooldown has been eliminated. That's nice. This is going to make for a much better video, but I looked up this book because I was curious, how many of these Wolverine ones were submitted at the same time that this book was. I mean, we could see that earlier this year, this book was submitted in May of 2024. And if you guys don't know this little trick, if you change the last couple digits of the order up here, of the item number, you can actually see what books were submitted together in this same batch. So if I were to go to 6024, this would be the book previous to that one that was entered into the system. And you can see that it was a Wolverine 1 in a CGC 9.8. Now, the grade date for this one is 4/22. I'm assuming that because it went to a 9.9, it got a little bit delayed. Now, let's just continue to look at this order right here. If I go 23, I can see that another Wolverine 1 in a 9.8 was submitted for this book. If I go to 22 here, I can see that, yes, again, another 9.8 was submitted for this book. And as we carry on here, I think you know where I'm going to take you guys. We're going to see a lot of 9.8s. And are we potentially going to see another 9.9? Well, there you have it. Number 20, another 9.9 copy right there. Now, this is one of the reasons that I actually got timed out by CGC's site, is because I was entering in all of these numbers, and I guess they thought that I was a bot looking at this entire submission. But I'm just trying to drill the point home, which is to say that the more that people submit books like this, and they do the comparative grading, they have all these copies of Wolverine #1 and they're sending them in there and they're getting 9.8s and they're hoping that, a couple might come back as a 9.9 or a 10.0, if they win the lottery in that regard. I mean, the more it's just going to, have downward pressure on the actual price for when these books come up for sale, which ipso facto is going to make this book crash. There you see another one right there, 5/2/2024, another book, number 13 as a 9.9. Let's just continue on here with this order. And again, I think that the way you do this, it can only show up to 25 copies in the submission order. I believe that's, you can only do orders of 25 overall, I think. So this one doesn't actually have a picture right here, but I do believe it is a 9.8. We can go over here, another 9.8. I do believe that this is an order that did have the 10.0 copy in it. Although we haven't had our luck here yet. I know this is a little bit taxing, but I don't know. I think this is kind of fun, guys. Don't do what I do. Don't try this at home, because CGC will time you out on their website if you actually do this. Well, it looks like in this particular submission, they did not get that 10.0 copy. Maybe later on, if I were to look up the 10.0 cert number, you'd be able to see in that submission, someone was submitting a bunch of Wolverine 1s and got some 9.9s as well. So interesting to see that, here it sells for $12,500. And I was watching this one last night. It was actually hovering around $5,000, as the clock was ticking down. But, last minute, there were a bunch of people that got their bids in. And I don't know, I have to assume that while this is a 20% correction from the previous sale, and certainly, half as much of a value as what it sold at its height, I have to think that this one is going to continue to go down as more of these books continue to get listed. Now, last little thing on the 9.9 point, shout out again to Ryan over at Automatic Comic Books. He made a video about this one. This X-Force #2 sold in a 9.9 on eBay recently for the whopping price of $697, which is a lot lower than the price of what this sold for on a Comic Link auction, which again, Comic Link is not recorded into, the databases here and GPA and all that, but it did sell in the multiple $1,000 range, which I bring it up to make the point that, as these books continue to hit the census, as these books do sell, and the other 4 holders, in a pop report of 5 here, see that that book sells for multiple thousands, well, they're going to be motivated to list their book. And that's ultimately going to put a lot of downward pressure on the market. It'll be interesting to see if the 9.9s continue to crash. Well, before we wrap up this video, I want to talk about a couple other really cool sales right here, just that are interesting to cover. They had a Marvel Comics #1, the first appearance of the Human Torch, the first issue of Marvel Comics. This October cover actually sold for the price of $163,300. A very, very big, respectable sale for this book right here. And this one is really cool because it actually is the October cover. In case you guys don't know, this book, I think, as I understand, had 2 printings of it, came out in October, and then some copies of this actually have a November in the upper right corner right there. Now, I'm not actually sure how it breaks down in terms of census count, how many more copies there are of November than October. I'm assuming that the October one is more rare. So, a little bit of a variant prestige in this book right here. And this sale is very, very strong overall. I mean, this is actually a book that sold in 2018, the very same copy, as you guys can see, has the same cert number ending 8001, but it actually got reholdered at some point where the holder used to say spine of cover completely split, reattached with tape, cover detached, first wrap completely split and detached. Someone decided to send it back into CGC, get rid of those label notes, and actually get the little distinction of October cover right there, which I actually think that that was very, very smart. This is one of those things where we talk about, the idea of subgrades in comic books. And is it a good idea? Is it something that is going to be beneficial to collectors? I mean, maybe the transparency might be beneficial to collectors right there, but certainly for people who are trying to sell their book, I mean, this stuff right here makes people not want to buy it if they can see all the damage on it or they can read the damage on it. Whereas, this one right here, where it highlights the fact that, hey, this is an October cover. I mean, all of a sudden this makes this book a lot more attractive. I'm willing to spend $163,000 on this book, whereas this book, I was only willing to spend $52,000. Granted, it was back in 2018, but really cool to see this book go up for sale. You don't see this one too often, and it's one of the most historic comic books we have in our entire hobby. Some other books to highlight right here. We got the Captain America Comics #1 in the CGC 3.5, only selling for $125,000. That's a pretty soft sale overall. And I wanted to talk about this in relation to the 9.9 thing, where, a lot of these books have a lot to do with how often have they sold? Has it been long enough for the demand to build up for a copy of this thing, so that, when the book actually goes up for sale, there's going to be, enough people that actually want to spend money on it. Well, with Captain America Comics #1, we've been seeing this book go up for sale fairly regularly. I mean, we had a 3.0 last year, late last year. We had a 2.0, late last year. We've had a couple 5.0s. We had a 3.0 earlier in the year, a sell for $156,000. So this 3.0 getting a higher price than this 3.5 right there. And again, I think that that's something to keep in mind and remember, that maybe the person who bought the 3.0 could have been a candidate that was looking to buy, say, this 3.5. But the fact that the 3.0 sold earlier this year and that person already got their copy, well, that takes one buyer off of the table into the sale of this 3.5. Even though it's a higher grade, I mean, there's just nobody that was around to buy it. I mean, we took somebody off of the table. And when you take somebody off of the table, I mean, of course, that's going to have an effect on the price point. Last cool piece I wanted to highlight for you guys, just because we got to, start talking more about original art. I thought that this was super cool. Look at this, Joe Jusko, Invincible Iron Man #4 cover. This is a reference that he did to Jack Kirby style art. It was a series of Marvel covers that he did in 2017. Of course, Joe Jusko, one of the ultimate Marvel trading card artists. He cut his teeth doing the Marvel Masterpiece cards. He has a very, very particular style. And he did all these covers that are like his version of Jack Kirby. And I thought that that was so cool. You can actually see how this looked on the comic book itself back in 2017. And the original art for this actually sold for $6,422, which honestly, I think that that was a really, really good price. Whoever bought this thing, I think got a really good deal on it. You get a Joe Jusko original. It's his homage to Jack Kirby. You get Iron Man on it. It's published work. And it's really, really cool. Congratulations to that buyer. And congratulations to the 9.9 buyer as well. I'm sure that they're going to be very, very happy with their book. And when the other ones come up for sale, just don't watch. Just don't look at the prices. Wait 20 years and then see what happens. Anyways, that's all for this video. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about 9.9's coming to market again and again and again? I mean, what do you guys expect is going to happen? The more that these books, continue to get slabbed and put into these 9.9 holders, and we've already had so many conversations about, like, it does seem like an initiative for CGC to get more 9.9's into these holders. It does seem like, it's never been easier to get a 9.9, and you have to sort of assume that a lot of these books, in modern age and copper age, have the opportunity to get 9.9's on the census. And as they come in, that initial first sale is going to be really exciting. There's going to be a lot of people chomping at the bit to buy it. But as they slowly start to trickle more and more and more, that's going to eventually create a lot of downward pressure on that price. Anyways, that's all for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.